Welcome you all to the next module, part D, coding system. Now in this module, we are going to learn what is coding system and how it is implemented. Now coding system is required to identify certain items. Now to these items, we can give some specific code, and this code can be a numeric code, it can be alphabetic code, or it can be alphanumeric code. So on the basis of these codes, we will identify the items. Now let us go ahead with this. Firstly, let us see definition is available to us from Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. Those who have defined the code as a system of symbols designed to be applied to a classified set of items to give a brief account reference, facilitating entry, collation, and analysis. So here, when you want to identify a class of items, develop certain symbols in the form of the codes, and by developing these codes we can recognize those items. So let us further see what are the requirements for implementation of a coding system. Now when you want to implement a coding system, certain things we have to first understand. Now we are developing a coding system for cost, so we should know what are the cost classifications. So if you know the proper cost classifications, then for every classification you can give a different codes. The second one is devising a coding system. When we devise a coding system, we have to give a proper codes. It can be a numeric, it can be a alphabetic, it can be alphanumeric also. So third one is easy to understand. We are going to discuss in detail also this. This coding system must be easy to understand. Whatever coding system we develop, it must be easy to interpret also. The coding systems are going to work in a environment where we are using a computers. So it should promote the EDP. Whatever coding systems we are giving, it must be effectively working. It should not happen that whatever coding systems we have developed, we are required to redesign those coding systems. That kind of a thing should not be there. And the last requirement is that there must be a uniqueness while deciding the coding system. So let us understand all these 7 points one by one. First one is cost classification. In order to implement coding system, first there is a need for cost classifications. Now what are the classifications we are going to learn as a cost accounting system? The code is splitted by functions, nature, behavior, or by elements. Functions means something like a factory, office, selling and distribution. Nature means it can be material, labors, overheads. Similarly, behavior. So we have to understand all the classification of cost, and we can assign a specific code for the function, specific code for the nature, and that way we can develop a system to identify the cost, what category of that cost is there. So when you are developing a coding system, firstly we have to understand the cost classification, develop the code for respective those cost classifications. Second one is devising coding system. The coding system can be based on codes used in combination of numericals, alphabetical, or alphanumericals. Means you can use a numbers, alphabets, or combination of this, and then we can create a codes. Now let us see the example how the codes are created. Now the codes can be set as for labor cost. Now for labor cost we want to develop a code. So a code will contain the number of digits. So let us say the first digit of the code is, we can give for identification as direct labor cost or indirect labor cost. So first digit will indicate D means direct labor, I means indirect labor. So after first digit, the second digit. Second digit will identify what kind of a worker this is. Whether he is a skilled worker, semi-skilled worker or unskilled worker. Now depending on that we'll give the code. So if we want to say that this is a skilled worker for whom the wages are paid, then we'll say a code number 1. So second digit is 1. Now third digit, let us say where this worker is working. If this worker is working in service department, we'll assign a code 1. If worker is working in production department, we'll assign the code 2. Similarly, if the worker is working in maintenance department, we'll assign a code 3. And similarly, like this, a code number 4, code number 5, code number 6, in order to identify up to an extreme end where this labor is working and what is the category of this worker is. For that purpose, we are going to develop a code. Now, this code we have discussed only 3 digits. There can be a code of 10 digits. So, 4th digit, 5th digit, 6th digit, certain criteria may be applied and it can be given to them. Now, here let us take a concrete example here. Code D32, and let us say few more 5 codes are there. What it will indicate? The first letter is D. First letter is D means this is a direct labor. The second letter is 3. Now what is 3? 1 is skilled worker, 2 is semi-skilled worker, 3 is unskilled worker. So this is a unskilled worker. So direct labor who is a unskilled worker. Now third digit is 2. What is 2 here? Production department. It means when this code is there D32, beyond that let us say a employee number is there or some other further criteria are there. So if it starts with D32, means this is a direct labor who is an unskilled worker who is working in a production department. With this code we can immediately identify what kind of a worker this is. Now this is what a devising a coding system. Now third requirement and implementation for implementation is easy to understand. So whatever coding system we develop, it must be very easy to understand. It should not create any confusion. Devising a coding system is most crucial part. Once it is finalized on classification of cost, the setting of coding structure which everyone can understand becomes the next target. So we have to ensure that these coding systems are not complicated and easy to understand so that the interpretation can be done properly. Fourth one is easy to interpret. Coding systems removes the ambiguity of understanding cost. So why we are developing a coding system? Because there should not be a confusion of understanding what exactly we want to say. When codes are there, whatever we want to say about the cost, it is very much clear because every cost is assigned a specific code. So this coding system removes the ambiguity of understanding the cost. Next one is promote EDP. Now electronic data processing is our ultimate aim in future. So whatever codes we develop, it should be compatible with the computer systems. Now whatever coding systems we have, this should promote the application of EDP system. EDP system must be capable of implementing properly when we develop a coding system. There should not be any overlapping or the coding should not have the multiple meanings. So there has to be a clear cut meaning given to every codes. Next one is effective working. Setting right coding system will encourage effective working of a monitoring system. So whatever coding system we have developed, from the beginning only we are saying that it must be easy to understand, it must be easy to interpret, and obviously it should encourage the working and it should encourage the proper system of understanding exactly why we are giving the code and from the code exactly what for what purpose this code is given, that should be very easy to understand. And last one is whatever coding system we develop, that coding system should be designed unique. It should be having a unique numbering. It means the same code should not be given to anything else under any circumstances. Because if the same code is given for something else also, then it will create a complications because we will not be able to reconcile exactly what that code is there. So third digit is assigned, let us say, as we have discussed earlier, for the service, production, or say some other department. Then the same code at the same place should not be assigned to anything else. It must be unique throughout the whole system that we are following in a company. Now this way the codings are given. Once the coding are given, it will create a very good idea about understanding exactly what we are doing. So this is a very small topic which is there in our syllabus merely to understand what is the coding system. So it is something like assigning a specific code which is a unique code, and by looking at that code we can identify that particular activity or we can identify that item. So this is the end of the coding system. So we are completing our topic module 1d. Thank you. Thank you very much.